Testing. I'm still way over to one side. Let's see. Let's try something out here. Yeah, I don't want this large. Oh, apparently I've got two people watching already. Hello. There is a little bit of a delay, about a 30-second delay. So if you started typing something and entered it, I don't see it in the chat area for about 30 seconds after you've entered it, unfortunately. If I see it, I will reply. I'm just doing a little bit of a test with StreamYard. I won't be on terribly late. Oh, Big Mama, how are you? Hey. I'm as I said, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of a test. I'm only on for a little bit because it's where I am. It's 1 a.m. But I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I have to work tomorrow, and then I'm going away next week. So I figured uh, uh, I don't know. I just felt like kind of playing around with this tonight. Um, it's an open invite if somebody wants to hop on as well for a little bit. Certainly open to that as well. I'm trying something out a little bit different for doing caricatures because come May, I'm going to be doing an event where I'll be doing caricatures at it, and I wanted to change up my style a bit if I can. And so I'm kind of doing some practicing, and I might maybe even try doing digital caricatures if it works. I'm not 100% on that yet, but I might, depending on how things go. So I'm doing a little bit of experimenting here. So, yeah. So this is just trying it out in color. I was trying to see mm, what program might be the easiest to do it at an actual event, and what takes the longest. So, like, how are you all doing? I haven't been very present online myself lately, just because work sort of driving me a little bit crazy. They've been calling me in constantly. Oh, that's awesome, Mom. That is a good soundtrack. I remember the first time I saw the movie as a kid, and the first thing that actually kind of struck me about that was how much I love the music to that. I think I've got the soundtrack. Yeah, I've got the soundtrack for it. I've got most of them actually. See if I can find a good brown color here. I actually really many years ago. Like I mean many years ago, like even before the days of the internet. I was trying to find like almost all the soundtracks on CDs because I was going to the conventions in Chicago, and there was a Japanese store that just happened to be right within walking distance of the hotel, and they sold a lot of Godzilla stuff, including some of the soundtracks. And I remember they were pricey, and this is going back into the 90s, but I remember thinking that I really wanted to get as many as I could, and I had bought a couple of them. And I think I'm not even sure if I still have the CDs. I think I'd given the CDs to somebody, but I had once I got a computer, I'd ripped them to the computer. Now um, I have I think just about all of them. Um, You can find them online. It took me a long time, and I've had them for quite a while, but I've got some of even the like some of the non-Ifukube based scores, and but yeah, I should open them up and maybe just start playing some of them for fun. I'd I'd play it in the background now, but get into I'd probably get into some trouble if I tried playing. Yeah, probably YouTube would shut me down because it's copyrighted material. So, oh, okay. Max's label, Figubi, Sinfonia. Okay, all right. Do you know one of my favorite pieces by him wasn't even originally for a Godzilla movie. It was, I believe it's just titled The Volcano, and I think it was originally supposed to be for a documentary, and they used it they ended up using it in Godzilla versus Gigan. The music for Godzilla versus Gigan is all it's Ifukube pieces, but all from a bunch of other movies, and they just sort of mishmash them all together. And that's why the music to that film is not really, it doesn't have a distinct theme of its own. It's just, you can tell it's from all these different other movies, but they used that one that was called The Volcano. And I think you can find it on, I think you can find it on YouTube if you look for Ifukube, The Volcano. That's a really cool piece of music. I really like it. Let me see if I can play around with this a little bit. So I'm supposed to be, I'm hoping in May to be going to Anime North, and that's the big anime convention in Toronto, and it's big. It's a fan-run convention. It's not even like Fan Expo or like with like the Comic Cons in the US. This is actually, those are all corporate. This is a fan-run convention. It's ginormous, and uh, they usually give me a free table if I just do the kids for free. If I draw the kids for free, um, they give me a table to set up, and I usually just draw all weekend. Like I charge $10 for adults, and I go all weekend. I usually make about $600 or so at that event. So I like to I like to try and make it every year if I can. But uh, Matango, yeah, Matango's good too. That's a creepy score. Matango, that's just a creepy flick. I haven't seen that one in ages. I wonder if I can find it anywhere. I don't think you can rent it anymore. It's like Atragon. Atragon's kind of a cool movie too, but it's you can't get it. I used to have it on DVD, and stupid me, I sold it years and years ago, and now it's so out of print. Um, it's actually to get it and buy it online. It's a lot of money for that, and I'm so dumb to sell that. I think I can probably find it. There's ways to get it if I really want it. I think there's ways to get it. There's ways to get it. But I need to. Should sit and watch some more some more of those flicks. I haven't watched some of those in a long time. I've just been so bloody busy. Is Paul still watching? Yeah, oh yeah, Paul says I'm not sure what I'm doing awake at this hour. I'm not sure either. Are you still up? Or are you oh, we're down to one viewer. I think he's gone. Yeah, I shouldn't technically be up. I thought somebody else was going to be online, and they weren't. And I kind of got kind of everything kind of ready, and they were not. They were not online. So I thought, well, what do I do here? So I thought, do I go on or not? And I thought, and then the time just kept ticking away, and I got kind of playing around with this, and wasn't really sure what to do. And I'll go on for a little while. Oops. Oh yeah, Smog Monster. That's a strange flick. Um, the the director, who sadly passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, he was fired after making that. Um, they weren't too happy with him at Toho for making that flick, which was kind of a shame. um, but he sort of still had his hands in, like he was still a producer. He co-produced the American flicks while he was still alive. All right, Big Bad Mom. It's nice to see you. Nice chatting. We'll have to talk again soon. I'm gonna try and watch some more kaiju flicks again. Probably in the new year. I'm gonna try and sit down and watch a few again just for fun. But yeah, good. You take care. Hopefully we'll. So I'll be doing more of these again come January. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have a chance to chat more. Have a good night. I'm all alone again. I like that color. Yeah. Don't know what happened, but this is extremely time consuming. If I did this, I'd have to find a faster way of doing it. Need some more viewers. I was going to come on this because I was supposed to have a chat with somebody about AI, and I was looking forward to it. I was talking with Chris Runciman, and for those in our little circle here, most know who Chris is. And if you're not familiar, I recommend looking, but maybe I'll put a link to him down below after this. But he's talking about and I'm probably up way too late, for even the West Coasters to hop in. But um, I had kind of wanted to share some ideas about it, and because he kind of shared some interesting thoughts on it, and because some people are okay with it, and there's more artists that are kind of concerned, and I'm kind of on the fence about the whole thing. Because in its current state, I'm not terribly worried, but I know with what's coming, it can potentially put a lot of artists out of business. Um, I was joking that as it stands right now, as long as it continues to draw people with 12 fingers on one hand, um, it's so far not as big of a concern. Um, but it's moving past that point quickly. I still think it doesn't. It can't pinpoint uh, what exactly sometimes it is you want, especially if you want, like for me, if I come up with something kind of unusual that I want to draw, it as much as I try to explain it to it, uh, it still can't put two and two together quite yet. Do you know what I mean? It you can give it some prompts and you can teach it some stuff, but it it's going to take a while for it to fully learn something. I had this idea, and I'm not going to say too much what it is, but it's something funny. I think it'd be funny for a shirt next year, and it's Christmas related, of course, so it's too late for it now because I won't have it made in time. I got too much to do. But I thought, oh my god, um, that'd be so funny to make this into a shirt. And I was thinking about if somebody tried to make it with AI, and there's no way you could actually explain the gag. You could maybe get parts of it and then use Photoshop to put it together. But I don't think that what I had in mind would be uh, producible. Um, there's also some legalities behind it, but whatever. That's not the point. Uh, but I think it just, if you really, like, you could, if you want something like a castle in the woods and with mountains and birds, there's a lot that's very vague in there, and so whatever it could come up with, you could play around with. Um, you could be okay. There it is. That's close enough. That's close enough to what I'm envisioning. So you could go with it. But if I have something really specific, I'm trying to come up with an example because I know you could say, like, here's a penguin playing golf, um, and it'll come up with that. Um, but I'm talking about more deeper specifics than that. If you want a specific character, um, let's say you want to make a joke and it involves Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but specifically the gag involves not just any looking Rudolph, but you need the Rankin Bass Rudolph, um, and you need it. Um, he could be. Uh, you need him flying around. I don't know, like the Death Star or something. That could probably be doable. Um, but if there's really, you know, which side of the Death Star or which Death Star? There's a couple of them. Um, do you know what I'm saying? Like there's too many variables, and if you're really trying to get into those specific variables, I don't think it can. when there's too many of them and they're too odd, that's a really simple example that probably can be done. But if you follow what I'm saying, when it comes to really some specifics, it's not hasn't it won't be able to figure it out yet. And the fact is it's pulling those off the internet, and especially if you want it caricaturized. Let's say I want the Rankin Bass Rudolph, but I want it to look a little bit funky. You want it caricaturized somewhat. It doesn't know where to caricaturize it or how you want, like how it is in the artist's head. Um, so I know exactly what I want in my head. I can see it and I can visualize it, and now I can actually draw it and put it down on paper. Like let's see this one. This is just a general caricature, so no one in particular, but it's just I'm testing out a style. Say I want a caricature of a kid with noodly arms and a noodly neck, and a short sleeve shirt with round shoes and a crazy little dog with a giant head. Would it give you that? But this is what I have in my head as an artist. If I punch that in, it's not going to probably give me this. It'll give me something else that you could probably sit there as somebody who's not an artist and go, that's close enough. But me as an artist, I have something really specific in mind, and I can make it. Exactly what's here, I can put down there. And that's where AI can only pick things from its sources and put together a reasonably close, and sometimes not at all, production of what you're trying to make. Some might say it's close enough. If I'm doing an actual caricature of this kid, say this was an actual kid that sits down and I'm going to do a caricature of him, I'm going to draw him. And I'm going to do this funky, wild drawing. Now, he could put his picture into an AI, but the fact is the AI is not looking at him. It's not learning his personality. This kid could be this completely nutty kid, but all his pictures, he could be sitting calmly and bored in all his pictures. So he punches in all his pictures, and it's going to probably come up with a bored kid. But yet the kid that's sitting in front of me is this firecracker wild kid. And so I can depict that in the caricature. And, he says he has a small dog, but it's a really wild dog. And he puts some pictures of it, and all it is just this basic dog. It's just sitting there like all its pictures. But he says no. He says he doesn't look that interesting in the pictures, but he's actually really crazy. Well, somehow you have to feed that into the AI, and you're still kind of hit and miss on what you're going to get. But a caricature artist has that right in front of you, and he's talking to you, and he's listening to what you're saying, and he's getting an idea, a little bit of an idea of your personality. And maybe one day the AIs will be able to pick up on that, and maybe all this will be useless one day. I'll probably be dead in the ground by that point, just as well. And then doing this is just going to be for hobbyists. Oh, I just sort of draw for fun. But most people get all their art online. They produce something. Somebody needs a picture for the living room. I want a New York skyline, but with wild colors and looking a little sort of, 1930s-ish kind of whatever. And then they can have it printed and created. And their own computer can do that. They'll have to get it printed. They have to pay to get it printed, but you're not paying any artist to do it, right? Not making any sense. I'm just rambling here. But I can understand why some artists, somebody told me, artists are just butthurt. Well, yeah, I'm going to defend that.
Some of us are. You would be too if something that you spent, either a lot of money on for an education or something that's your passion, something you enjoy, is kind of being taken away from you in a weird sense. And especially if it's something where you intend to um, make a living at it, and now you're being told you're not going to be able to. But this is something you learned for so that you can create a career for yourself in your life. I always tell you, you only live once, right? This is your life, this is your ride, and you're trying to make something as enjoyable with it as you possibly can. You're um, a- and if and to try and make a living at that um, is a challenge. Not everybody does get to do that. Some people just, it doesn't become more than a hobby, but you try to at some degree. I wanted to become an animator. Well, I wanted to work in animation, not necessarily specifically an animator, but I did want to work in animation. I did for a very short time, uh, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out. Um, all got outsourced. A lot of it changed to computers, and it started getting outsourced. And then it was just hard for me to get work. That's why I ended up still doing caricatures and that kind of thing. And I've never really been able to get into formally into the art field to working for a company or something that would actually make money, except doing maybe caricatures. I worked for something called Caricatures Unlimited for a while. Right. Um, so yeah, artists are feeling a little bit shot down by this. It is a little concerning for us. Um, yeah, I don't know how else to word it, but it's late. I shouldn't be doing this. It's late, but I am. This is where I wish I kind of had some other people in here, get a little bit of feedback. Um, but I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to feel a little bit affected by that. You know, uh, we talk so much about the state of mental health. And we say check in on your friends and that kind of thing, and we hear um, we hear so many stories about people that are unhappy and horrible stories of what happens with these people. Oh, if I only knew, and if I only, well, that's why we're kind of telling you these things now. It's always after the fact, right? Because I can tell you right now, this can affect the mental health of a lot of artists. Um, it's a very frustrating thing. What's a blue pencil? All right. Trying to find something little. Keeping my voice down because my roommate's supposed to be trying to sleep. I'm probably too loud anyways. I'm going to turn in a few minutes. This is just nonsensical. I forgot about that shirt.
kind of want to do something with this here. Trying to find a speckler that I know I have. Really crappy teeth. I'm going to bed.
All right. That was my cue. I am going to save this, and I'm going to go to bed. This is just a test run anyways, so Wednesday night will be the big stream with Enrique, and I'm not sure Vince. I don't think Vince is going to be able to make it, but Enrique will be there, and I will be there, and hopefully you are too. All right. Have a good night.